My name is Louis Bledsoe and I'm with Rich Ford in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I appreciate you taking a minute or two to watch this video because you're going to learn something about the car buying process. Rich Ford is a huge dealership and March is the biggest month of the year. They spend a fortune on media advertising and free food and Bigfoot and all kinds of giveaways, giving away a 2012 Ford Fiesta. So things are going to be very, very busy around here for the next 4 weeks. So what I wanted to do is just help you get prepared for the car buying process, because things have changed a lot probably since you bought your last car. The economy has gone through some rough times and it has taken a few years to adjust to it, but the way things are looking today, I heard Clark Howard on the radio this morning and he was strongly encouraging people that this is a prime time to buy a car because manufacturers are competing and dealerships are competing, because today it's not so much a high profit per unit business, it's a high volume business. And the number of units that roll out of the door are a big deal to these big dealerships. They've survived some tough times. Rich Ford certainly has, Ford Motor Company certainly has, and now they're looking for some good times to come. And this, with low interest rates right now, with banks and credit unions being very aggressively now competing for customers like they did years ago and not like they did, for example, in 2009 and 2010 and most of 2011, the floodgates are beginning to open now to more aggressive financing. So you want to be realistic, but you want to be optimistic when you start shopping for a new or used vehicle to replace what you've been driving or add one to the family fleet. So let's first talk from the standpoint of being realistic. Gone are the days when one person could have 3 or 4 car loans, excellent credit, paying all those car loans on time, and they could get another one. Today, even with the highest credit score, 99% of the lenders have a requirement that there is 1 car loan per income earner in the household. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If you've got a vehicle that is almost paid off and you're thinking about buying another vehicle sometime soon and giving that vehicle to somebody else in the family, you better go ahead and pay it off before you start car shopping, so you won't have a lot of disappointment as you think you're a perfectly good customer, but the bank says, no, only 1 car loan per person. So think in those terms. Another area where banks are more stringent than they used to be is in the debt to income ratio. In other words, they don't want you to buy a car that you can't afford. It's a perfectly logical thing. Mortgage lenders have been doing it for years. Car lenders have been pretty lax on it, but they're pretty tight now. There's actually a payment calculator on our website, rich-ford.com, and you can use that payment calculator to get an idea of what the payments would be on a $20,000 purchase, or a $25,000 or a $30,000 or a $45,000 or a $50,000 if you're looking for a new Super Duty truck, for example. And keep in mind that in many cases, when a person trades a vehicle in, they might owe more than it's actually worth. But again, part of the position of being as competitive as Rich Ford and the lenders that we're working with are, is they can sometimes absorb some negative equity. It's called upside down, or if you're really upside down, it's called buried. And that's, from my experience in the car business, that's the most heart-wrenching disappointment that we see people dealing with. They come in with a vehicle and they look on some internet site or something, or see one for sale in a retail dealership, and they think, oh, this car's worth $20,000, and the dealer does his run and he offers them $10,000 for it, and it just breaks their heart. But the fact is, dealers can buy cars all day long. There's hundreds of auctions all over the country, and they can go to these auctions and buy cars that have probably already been through a dealership, been reconditioned, been checked out, have a clean Carfax, and parked on the front line and just didn't sell fast enough. They're perfectly good cars, and that dealer doesn't have to spend any money on them to put them back on his front line. And he can buy those cars all day long, and he can't pay much more, if any more, in real money for your car than he can buy one for at the auction. It doesn't make any sense. But when it comes to putting a package together for a lender to look at, a lot of times it will look like he paid $12,000 or $15,000 for a vehicle that he only put $8,000 or $9,000 in, but that's paperwork that's designed to get the deal done. They'll show a higher allowance, maybe a higher purchase price on the vehicle than you're actually paying for it, so the banker looks at it and says, this guy's got good sense. He's staying within his means, he's getting rid of an older car, getting a new car, and we get a new customer. So, deal approved. But you know, something else that's to many people even more precious than money or an interest rate is time. And a lot of people really dread the process of shopping for a car. And the good news is you found me, you found this video and some other videos on the Skybox Service blog. And my mission is literally to cut to the chase. I want every shopper to be a power shopper. I don't want you to spend hours and hours and hours trying to figure out what you want, and then 2 or 3 more hours trying to figure out if you can actually buy it. So I have a proposal for you. I have a private office here at Rich Ford. It's called the Skybox. And what I like to do, I spent 20 years as a financial planner and not very many years as a car salesman. And I really like to get the things that can nail you in the end out of the way right up front. So what I like to do is bring you up to my office, get on the computer where the inventory is totally current and up to date. Sometimes you see cars sitting out there that have already been sold. Get on the computer and see what's really available. Look at the prices. Talk about what you're trading in and where you stand on that. And other factors that will ultimately come down and affect you at the very last minute. Let's get them out of the way up front. Who's the car for? What's it being driven for? What different types of vehicles would suit the purpose. A lot of people get emotionally attached to a specific vehicle when there's one sitting next to it that they just haven't wrapped their mind around yet that's as good or better for their intended purpose. Because today's buyers are not so much buying the emotion and the flash as much as the car dealers still think they are. People today are much more practical than they were 5 years ago in buying cars. So a big thing we want to accomplish is that, you know, 3 months, 6 months from now, when you're driving your vehicle, you look back at the experience and you realize that you were placed into something that made sense for you at this stage in your vehicle buying career. See, you'll spend more money on vehicles than on your house over a period of time. It's a tremendously important financial planning decision, and you don't want to get too emotional, although some of the new cars with all their features can get you pretty excited. Now again, in the interest of time, so you can actually accomplish the mission that you were on when you came to the dealership, have a couple of pieces of paper handy. Of course, your driver's license, but also proof of residency. Driver's license usually does that, but a copy of a utility bill that's being sent to you at the residence address that's on your driver's license. And proof of income. A check stub. Your most recent check stub is always good. Or if you're self-employed, you may end up having to come up with tax returns or income statements or bank statements. Kind of be prepared, because again, we're having to deal with the lenders who want to go beyond. They always go beyond credit score. Credit score is not the whole thing. A person can have a great credit score and not qualify to buy a car because there's a lot of other stuff going on in their lives and they haven't ruined their credit score yet, but they're just about to right after they buy this car. The lenders are pretty good at figuring this out. So bring a check stub, a utility bill, of course your driver's license, proof of insurance on what you're driving. Anything you have about your trade-in. We want to talk about your trade-in because we're going to be bringing in 200 or 300 or 400 trade-ins in the month of March here at Rich Ford, and some of them will be good enough to go through our shop, pass all the inspections, have us spend money recondition them and put them back on the lot for people just like you to buy. So we want to know all about your vehicle if you're trading it in to help decide, is this something that's good enough for our local market, or does it need to be sent off to a wholesaler so they can spend money trying to make something out of it. So, you know, be prepared to kind of tell us a story on the car that you're trading in. Well, I hope this information is helpful to you. There's a contact form on my skyboxservice.com. That's SKYBOXSERVIC, skyboxservice.com blog. There's a contact form on there. Get in touch with me. Any questions you've got, give me your contact information so I can respond to you by phone or email or text message. And I'll do my best to answer your questions. If March is going to be the month for you to get serious about a vehicle, it's perfect because these guys are so motivated. They're going to push out so much volume. You're going to get an amazing deal. The lenders, they brought the bankers in last night and fed them a big dinner, and the bankers are all eager to place as many loans as possible on our customers. And you could not pick a better time to buy a car, and everybody that comes on the lot will have a chance to actually win one. And This is a 40 mile per gallon Ford Fiesta, and with gas prices doing what they're doing now, having a vehicle that gets 40 miles per gallon is a pretty good investment, and we've got a lot of vehicles here that get 30 or better, so they're bigger than that. This is Louis Bledsoe at Rich Ford. I appreciate your time watching this video, and I really look forward to meeting you personally.